gotta get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Valerie, and this is my special guest of a husband, Roel, not to be confused with Raul.
Yeah.
I am a wife, a mom, and a nanny. I bring 2 videos a week. Cleaning motivation, recipes, and sometimes a bonus video like today. This is going to be our proposal story. Well, more like his proposal story because he's the one that proposed.
I did.
And this video is in collaboration with some of my best friends, and I'm going to list all these beautiful ladies right here. Okay, babe.
All right.
All right.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello,
Hello.
YouTube universe.
Hello.
Is that the right word?
Yes. Okay. Sure.
Okay, the proposal story. Why are you laughing? Because of my face or what?
Well, no, because of the clip where you were. I was like, "Does that look fine?" And you were like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna change it."
It's always.
Okay, guys. First things first. Let me give you a shot of my. Let's see if it'll focus. Unfocus for me. Of my ring. It needs to be cleaned. Oh my God, you can't really see it. There we go. It needs to be cleaned. And there is a story behind because I did have a 3rd ring for our 1-year anniversary. But
Yeah.
okay, babe.
All right.
So let's get this started.
Okay, so.
Because guys, it's funny. Like the proposal almost didn't happen because I was trying to convince him to stay home. So.
Yeah. So where do I begin? Okay, so.
First you begin with the moment you laid your eyes on me, I was like, he immediately
So it
fell in
started
love.
like January of 2011.
No, we don't have to go through the whole backstory.
No. So, okay, the minute I knew I wanted to propose.
To me.
To her, to my sweet wifey here.
Hi.
Hello. So when I wanted to propose, it was probably a little bit after, or a little bit before Thanksgiving of 2011. And I kind of had an idea what I was going to do. I was starting to gauge some different scenarios, and I'll get into those scenarios here. But the first thing I did was I told my parents, and they were excited. And I said, I'm gonna do this, and they were really, really excited. And my mom's like, okay, well then we gotta go look for a ring. I'm like, okay, cool. So before we get to that story, I did the honorable thing first. In our tradition was I went to go ask Valerie's dad for permission. And I remember when I went to go see my in-laws, and I'm there talking with them, and I told my mom, my mother-in-law, I need to talk to Dad. Or I said, I need to talk to Gilbert. All right, and she's like, okay. She already.
I can picture my mom.
She giggled. She giggled and she went, okay. And so I get him. She gets him for me, and we're sitting down in the living room, and I asked him for permission, and he said, son, it would be my honor to give you permission. And he's like, you're the man for my daughter.
Thanks, Dad.
So,
my dad watches all my videos. I love you.
Love you too, Pop. So I got his blessing, and so then that was like on a Thursday or a Friday or something like that. So then that weekend, I was living in Corpus Christi at the time. So she was.
And I was here in San Antonio.
Yeah. So I remember getting off of work, and my mom, my sister Madi, and my dad all said, hey, meet us at the mall, okay? We're gonna go look at the rings. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're there, and already got this butterfly thing going. It's already there, and it's not even, I haven't even seen her yet, right? And so like I call her, and I have to do the right thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna go have dinner with my family, and I'm like, okay, cool, have fun, you know. So we're there, and I'll never forget it because my mom was like, and Mom and Madi were really, really excited because they were doing this, and we were going to the jewelry store, and like, what kind of ring does she like? What's her favorite jewelry? Does she like gold? Does she like platinum? Does she like this? I'm like,
you're like, she doesn't wear jewelry.
I go, I don't know. I've never seen her wear jewelry. And they're like, but what about this? I'm like, I don't know. And the salesperson, whatever, she said, oh, congratulations. Oh, you know, being very giddy and stuff. And I'm just like, cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous. Like, I don't, she said, what is she like? And I'm like, oh God, I don't know. My mom's like, oh wow, this is pretty, son. Do you think she'll like it? I don't know. Mom, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you like it? Yes, I like it, son, but what if I'm like, I don't know. So like, we were, like, that was my word of the night was, I don't know. And I was so nervous that at times I came across like I was almost agitated, but I wasn't agitated. I was just excited, but I was nervous because I was gonna ask her to marry me. And like, I wanted it to be right. Like the ring, the setting. I was already thinking about the setting, and I hadn't even got the friggin' ring yet. You know, I'm like, like, so then we finally, after like an hour and a half, I remember my dad went like out to the sitting area. And I was like, I'm gonna be sitting down, you guys. So we got the ring. Boom. That was like a Sunday. I wasn't gonna see her till Friday. Okay, that was like 6 days. And,
but can I come and preface something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
You guys, so you know how he went and asked my parents. I just kept like texting him, and like every time we would talk, because we were in a long distance relationship at the time. Every time we would talk, I'd be like, I don't know what's going on with my family. No one wanted to talk to me. You guys, I went from talking to my mom twice a day. In the morning, on the way to work, we would talk for about 30 minutes while I was on the way to work. And then when I would get off of work, we would literally talk the entire hour it would take me to get home in traffic. And guys, she was being so short with me. And I would tell him, I'm like, babe, I think my mom's mad at me. And he's like, why would she be mad at you? And I'm like, we'll be talking, like I would call her and she would always answer. Like that was the thing, she always answered my phone call. But guys, within 5 minutes, she was like, I have to go. And she wouldn't even tell me anything, and she would just hang up. So imagine how I was feeling that my mom was so upset with me, and then I'm venting to him. And obviously he knew why. And my mom was like going like further down the road. My mom was so scared to talk to me because she was scared that she was gonna tell me. She was like, I was so scared that I was gonna tell you, so I just like would find any excuse to hang up with you. It was devastating. Okay, I was devastated because I just kept like, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? I was like, did I talk back to her without realizing it? Like I was going through all these scenarios in my head, like wondering what I did wrong because my family would not speak to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, what, how many weeks?
That was like 6 days.
Well, yeah, so like almost a week.
Yeah, it was like a week.
6 days of torture for me. Okay, continue.
So that week was the longest week. Like I can still play it out in my head like it was slow motion. But then like the day, it went by like, it was going by, it felt like it was going by fast, but it was going by like really, really slow. Like second by second by second by second. My coworkers knew where I was working at the time. I remember I had one of my friends, I was thinking of ideas, how to do it. So I thought of like taking her to like a cool restaurant that we liked, and like going into like, cause they had like these, if you've been to San Antonio, there's a place called the Magic Time Machine, and they have like all kinds of different types of tables. But I was gonna ask for like a very private looking booth. You remember how like they had like a little private booth? Yeah. I was gonna do it in there. And like it was gonna be like just between us. I wanted it to be special, but then I was like, no, that doesn't sound too exciting. So I was kind of like still trying to figure it out. And one of my coworkers was like, hey, it's like this the first week in December, you're going to go to San Antonio. Why don't you go for like a carriage ride? go for a carriage ride, and all the Christmas lights are up downtown. It's beautiful. That's the perfect way to do it. So I was just like, man, why didn't I think of that? So then, okay, my plan was there. Okay, we got to go downtown, but we have to have a reason to go downtown. We're gonna go eat at a restaurant. Perfect. Restaurant. Because usually we stayed like inside the loop, and we never really would go downtown to go eat. I'm like, we're gonna go eat downtown. Okay, there's a lot of restaurants. Where do I want to go at? Well, we both love music, so why don't we go to Hard Rock Cafe? It's got everything, and it's like a nice setting. So she's like, yeah, we can go eat there. So I remember.
And we're back. We had to tend to Jude, so.
Okay, so 2 or 3 days prior to my big day, I was calling the Hard Rock Cafe because I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna be packed because it's tourism, it's Christmas, like early in the month. Like, is there gonna be a lot of people? Do I need to make a reservation? So I call, and the person that answers like, no, you don't need to make a reservation. I mean, just come in, we'll seat you right away. And sure enough, we'll get to that too. So, had the ring, had dinner, and I had the place to do it. Everything was ready. So then came the day, and everything was just going by so slow. I even got to leave early that day from work. I worked it all out. Talked to my boss, hey, I gotta leave early. Okay, cool. Boom. I'm driving. But look, it doesn't sound easy because that day I was like, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the day. This is the day. And I remember calling her. Like I was taking longer to get here for whatever reason. And she's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just stuck in traffic and this and that. So I finally get here and it was cold, remember?
Yes.
So I had my pea coat. I was gonna put the ring in there, but I still hadn't I still had it in the bag from like the jewelry store. And she's like, hey, so when you get here, we're just gonna go? I'm like, yeah, but I need to get something down. And you're like, I'll help you with it.
And yeah, okay, so like, here's where I'll come in. So he's almost here, and I'm like, okay, perfect, I will help you when you get here. Just let me know when you're here. And he's like, oh, no, I don't need any help. Well, I heard him pull up, like, because my apartment at the time was right next to like my parking spot. And it was always available. So it's like you would see the lights or hear the car, and I'm like, oh, he's here. So I run outside, like just to go, because I was so excited because I hadn't seen you at that point in like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Like I hadn't seen him. So I run to give him a hug, and he was around on the passenger side. And like, I couldn't tell what he was doing, honestly. But he was like frantically, because of course he didn't know that I was gonna go outside, frantically shoving the bag underneath the seat, like to hide it because I went around. So you guys, like, fast forward to the restaurant. He was sitting there, he's like, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, we can leave, like, let's just leave. Like, we can go home. Like, I'd rather just spend time with you anyway. We don't need to be out. We don't need to do anything. And he's like, no, no, I'm fine. Maybe I just need to eat something. He could not even eat. And I'm like, okay, maybe you're coming down with something. Like, do you feel like you have a fever? And guys, like, I legit, like, am checking his head, and I'm like, you're kind of like sweaty. Like, maybe you're coming down with a cold. Like, let's go home. And he was like, no, I swear I'm fine. It's just kind of hot in here. And I'm like, actually, it's not. Like, guys, this was in the winter time, okay? It was not hot. Okay, it was like 42 degrees outside. It was not hot. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. I just need water. Like, let me just get some water. And I was like, okay, I'll get the waitress. Like, you know, and like, can we just have a glass of water with ice? And she's like, yeah, sure. So he's drinking that, but something was off. And I could tell, but I also had no clue what was happening. I legit felt like he was coming down with something. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, oh my gosh, like my poor boyfriend, like we have no business being out in public with him feeling this way. And like, he was like determined. He's like, no, I got this. And okay.
So then we eat, and then we're walking out.
Well, I eat.
Oh yeah, she eats. We leave, and we're walking out, and And she totally fell into the trap. She's like, oh my gosh, look, a carriage ride. Like, we should do that. I'm like, yeah, we should. You're like, really? I'm like, yeah, let's do a carriage ride.
You guys, I had zero clue. But I had always, like, when I would go downtown, I would always see the horse and carriage ride, and I always thought that was so cool. So when I saw, like, they had some, like, lined up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, let's do that. And when he was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And at first I was like, no, those things are, like, so expensive. Like, that's why I had never, like, you know, we had never done it before, because I was like, that's so expensive. Like, no way. And he's like, no, let's do it. I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. Like, let's do it. It'll be so nice. And all the Christmas lights were out. It was beautiful. Yeah.
So we get on the carriage ride and we're riding. And
we took a selfie. I'll insert that selfie right here.
Yeah, we took a selfie. And I remember, I'm like, man, it's any moment now. Any moment. And I remember just feeling like that, the butterflies, but those good butterflies, you know, like when you get those butterflies. And I'm like, okay, do I do it now? 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 I'm like, no, not yet. That doesn't look right. No. And I didn't. Then the guy turns and she says, oh my gosh, look at that. It's so beautiful.
It was the big Christmas tree.
Yeah, and I was like, boom, this is it. And then I think she said something to me and I was like, yeah, huh? Like, I was just. And so then I said, Babe. I said, will you marry me? And she said,
I said, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. For real, you're not joking.
Yeah.
I'm crying already.
I know. My lip like quivered because I was nervous. Maybe I was kind of like, oh man, what if she says no? What if she says no? You know, like
yeah.
And she said yes, and
then I just hugged him and I started kissing him, and I was like in full, like I was just hugging him and holding him so tight. And then he goes, hey babe,
you want to look at the ring?
Do you want to see the ring? And I was like, oh yeah. Guys, I could care less about the ring. Like, I was just like, and I saw it and of course like fell in love. It was beautiful, it was perfect, it was everything. But in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I always knew, I'm gonna get so emotional. I always knew that he was my soulmate. And it was just like, that was the beginning to like where we are today. So special. And then all the nerves went away. And you guys, it ends on a funny note because as we're driving home, he's like, can I stop and get something to eat? You were so hungry. So yeah, that's our proposal story. We hope you all enjoyed this video. Please go check out all my friends. I'm gonna leave their video links down below. And don't forget to
like and subscribe. And
turn on the notification bell so you'll know every single time we upload.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you in the next video. Hearts. My hand's so small.